Hello everyone, this is Shadow Dragon from the DCUO community, and I wanted to do this video to go over some strategies for Rise of the Bat. And in the same format as what I did for Age of Justice, was I picked an earlier mission that had the same map, because Rise of the Bat is an operation, so that second part they kick you out like if you're in there too long, so can't really clear it and then go back and give a tour. And also there's two locations, so you can't go back to the first location. And there's definitely too much to cover that would fit in like an actual run of the alert, because there's lots of different ways to run it for different feats. So I thought this would be best. This is the villain leveling mission for infiltrating the WayneTech security area. Now, what's it actually called? WayneTech storage facility. It might have a different name for Rise of the Bat. I think it's called High Security or something. But it's exactly the same map, and the cameras you see in the ceiling, well, not in this room, are pretty much the same configuration as Rise of the Bat, except in Rise of the Bat you're going to see like a light beam coming down from the camera, and if you touch the light beam it triggers an alarm. Okay, so first of all, in the first room here, in Rise of the Bat it's going to be filled with poisonous gas. So if you walk in there, you're going to take damage over time. And the room is split into like several zones, and there's going to be a control panel to turn off the gas. And there are actually two different runs for this, two separate feats. Let me see if I could actually find it. Like there's one to turn off all of the gas, and one to turn off none. And I think if you turn off 3 of them, there should be 5 total. If you turn off 3, I think it opens the next door. So you could possibly get through the room without getting either feat. But typically, like the first time you're in here, you're going to try to hit all of them, just because there's like an interaction cog. Okay, hold your breath, I know, is one of them. Okay, they're actually next to each other. Clear the air is WayneTech High Security Facility. This is shut off all vents. Hold your breath is to shut off none. Okay, so I'll go over the one that I think is most normal, and that's the one to interact with all of them. So this is pretty simple. The first control panel is going to be here. So the first person that enters should just run and interact with it. Now, the key with these control panels is the moment you touch it and hit interact, it's going to turn off the gas, whether you get interrupted or not. So if you get interrupted, go ahead and finish the fight with your team, and then just interact with it again. But the moment you touch it once, it's going to turn off the gas already, so just continue with the battle. Don't make the mistake of attempting to interact with it, because otherwise you might get knocked down. So just keep in mind that a touch is good enough for the initial. So the first cog will clear the room up to here. What you could do from then on is you could actually go to each of the other ones, like the other one is here, and just do the same thing. Touch, just turn it off, and then clear the room. If you have a tank or somebody with a pull, they could reach the adds from the safe spot, like after you clear this one, and you just pull them into this area and fight them here. Same case with this side of the room. Control panel is going to be here, and it is in range of all tank long range pulls. But if you don't have a tank, it's pretty safe to just rush here and touch it and then do the fight. And the other two are in the other rooms. So like there's one here, and each room has a chance of ninjas appearing. And then the other one is here. So that's 5 total. But I think once you touch any 3 of them, this door will open. Okay, so you should get a feat for turning off all 5 of those. Now, the way to do it with none and taking the least damage, I highly recommend that you have a tank in the group, because he's going to have the defense to take the dot damage walking through here. So first, like the tank has to step in and then step back out, otherwise the ads won't spawn. And then basically you just pull them all into this little area, and everybody else will just attack from here or just wherever they can hit. And then the same thing, the tank will have to pull. The ads on either side of this room are visible immediately. So just pull them, and the tank will pull them all the way back here. The tough ones are the 2 rooms that you have to enter, because you have to just check them if there are ads, because there may or may not be. So the tank walks in here and sees if any ninjas come out, and then if they do, just lead them all the way back. Now, when I did this, it was with fire, so I was able to heal myself, like coming through here. But other tanks may have to use shielding or possibly even sodas if they take too long. Anyway, yeah, same case with this side of the room. Just drag them all back. Now, none of these feats will pop right away, so don't be alarmed. They locked it to the boss fight. That way you can't just farm the feats and then exit. Because otherwise, like a tank can actually solo this. But I think they locked it to the boss so that nobody just walks in and solos the feats, or just does the feats and leave. Okay, so that covers the 2 gas runs. The other feat, which you'll probably get automatically on your first run anyway, because it's a new instance, so you don't know what to expect, and you're just kind of going in a linear fashion. There's a feat for setting off every single alarm before you get to the first boss. So you just walk through this thing to set off the first one. I actually don't know if this counts, but it's safe. Just to be safe, go ahead and run through it. I kind of think that one doesn't count, but just better to be safe. Now, all the alarms are tripped by the cameras here. And these consoles that look like this here turn off the cameras. So for the feet, you're just going to not interact with any of these and just pretty much walk through as you normally would. And it's going to set off all the alarms. And why are there ads here? I actually cleared this place. I think some of the ads respawn here. Okay, but the thing you have to be aware of is when you trip the alarms, there's going to be a whole bunch of drones that spawn in the back. And they're going to attack your party from behind. So if you're the tank, be aware of that, and go back and help your teammates. Like don't just run ahead, because there's going to be ads in the back, and then you're going to be pulling in ads in the front and be attacked from both sides. So that's pretty much it, like all the way through here. Like, there's the intruder. Take him out. In the little hallways, there's going to be just cameras, just trip them all off. But the other thing I wanted to show here is how to not trip the cameras. And it's just odd that the feat isn't for not tripping the cameras, because that's like the harder, skillful run. And the reckless way is to just run through the whole thing and trip all of them. So, I don't know. It's weird. The feat should be for the harder thing to turn off the alarms, or it should be a 2-run feat. And I thought a lot of the smaller content was going for the 2-run feat just to encourage multiple runs, until we hit this one. But I actually think there's a reason why, and I'll kind of explain that at the end. So, okay, if you're trying not to trip anything, and I have Verminard here just to demonstrate acrobatics for some of these. For this one, just to be safe, and remember there's no feat for this, unless there's a hidden ninja feat. But you just jump over this one just to not trip that alarm. This room, it doesn't matter, clear it either way. The first obstacle is going to be in that first small hallway. So when this door opens, there's going to be a beam coming down diagonally from this camera here. So if you touch that, ads will appear from behind. So when you walk in here, just interact with this. It'll turn off this camera. So you won't get drones from behind if you do that. But don't rush ahead too quickly, because ninjas are going to spawn here. So if you lunge them, you're going to set off this alarm here, because there's another camera here with a beam pointing down. I kind of thought there might be 2 cameras also. I'm pretty sure there was one here in Rise of the Bat. Okay, so what you do is you get the ads to spawn, pull them back here, and kill them here. That way the battle is not spilling into the cameras. Now, from here, and this is probably the reason why this is not a feat, this particular obstacle, the way it's set up with the cameras, it doesn't seem to be possible by any movement mode other than acrobat. Because flight, you're pretty much upright the entire time. So if you did this, if you tried to fly through this area, I think your legs are going to trip it off. Same case with super speed. Like super speed can run upside down here, but they're upright the whole time. And I think body type is also a factor. Now, all the body types have an equal hitbox. Like if someone's firing at us, we're roughly the same size, the area that gets hit. However, when we're going through obstacles, it does favor smaller characters. And you can try this, like set it up in your base, put 2 objects on the floor next to each other, and just have every body type roll through it. And you'll notice that some of the larger ones won't make it. So I don't know what the cutoff is for this size, but I'm running this with Alyssa all the time, and she's a small monarch, so it's like the middle body style and the smallest size of that, and she's able to get through this. But this is a villain instance, so I don't have a villain small enough that's acrobat. So we'll look at Lord Verminard with the Batman gloves on. But basically, you just step up to this point. You slowly crawl up here. And you want to get it so you're upside down, like on the ceiling. That way your legs aren't hanging down or anything. And then you crawl along the side very slowly. You get... Oops. Let me angle the camera. And you know what? Okay, Lord Verminard is a large striker. And you can see that he can't make it past this camera. but a small monarch can actually climb past that camera. So I'm seeing right here there's it favors the smaller body types. But anyway, if I was using a smaller body type, I would have made it past here. So from there, you just get out of your fast movement mode. Oops, wrong computer. So that way you're dropping down safely, and then you interact. So that's why it's not a feat. Like from my experience, you have to be acro and small body type. Otherwise, you're going to trip this alarm all the time. Alright, the second one is tricky because your natural reaction to this room is to just walk forward, but then you're going to trip the alarm because there are cameras here, or in the Rise of the Bat version, there are cameras here on this side and this side. So if you walk into the room, you're going to trip the alarm. The console to turn those off is here. So just walk in slowly because the cameras are touching like maybe 2 feet in already. So you kind of have to slow walk in here, turn around and interact. And then you're safe to battle the rest of the room. Okay, so once you reach this room, you're going to turn this one off, and that takes care of the camera pointing in this area. Because I think there's an extra camera up here in Rise of the Bat. But again, don't move too quickly in, because there's going to be ninjas again. So pull them back here and fight them in either this small area or pull them back to the room. This camera is still in Rise of the Bat and it's pointing diagonally down here. And this one is doable by probably any movement mode. Let me demonstrate it with Acrobat though. Make sure Verminar is in there. So for this one, I climb the wall here, move to the other side, and then just drop down. Oh wait, sorry, I got it mixed up. Okay, this is the only camera here then. So this one turns off this camera, then you move here. Ads will spawn here, so you pull the ninjas back into the staircase, kill them here. Okay, now this is the bend that looks almost the same. This camera here is diagonally pointing down to this corner. Okay, so pretty much I'm gonna do the same thing. So you're gonna crawl up this side here, crawl around the corner, and then you drop down and interact. Now this one is doable by flight. You just simply float up here and drop down. Just clear the room again. Alright, so the next trap, in this room, again they want you to walk in, but the moment you walk in, there's going to be caltrops on the floor, and they're gonna force you into like a slow movement. Now the way around this, at least for acro, because that's the only one I have experience with in this instance so far, so this might actually favor acro, because I don't know if flight can get through it fast. But with acro, like before you get into the room, like before you step across that line, what you're going to do is just grapple sort of diagonally to the other side. In Rise of the Bat, that box isn't in the way, and there aren't all those boxes in the middle, so you could actually get in there and grapple. If you don't do that, you're just going to have to slow walk and roll through this. There's going to be a whole bunch of caltrops plus ninjas. But if the tank grapples all the way through here, and ideally lands where you see Verminard now, from there he can kind of pull all of the ninjas into that area. And then everyone else will just follow through, either grappling, or I imagine you can supersonic flight through that too. And I think super speed can probably walk upside down, like from the ceiling. But I don't have any experience with those two in this instance. But if you can't get through it, don't walk. That's too slow, and you're going to take damage over time. If you're in slow movement, or if you get slowed by some kind of effect, the roll is the best way to move. You're going to cover the most ground. The roll does not get slowed by anything. So if you're affected, just roll through everything. And that's a general tip for any type of combat. And then you just fight them all in this area. There's going to be, these boxes aren't here in Rise of the Bat. There's going to be a couple more ninjas in this corner. Just take them out, same way. Another side note, in this area there's an investigation up here, so don't forget to fly up. After you clear the bottom part of this room, there's going to be more ads up here.
Stop right there, buddy.
There should be like 2 ninjas here.
Ha! They'll never get past the security door.
And then the last trap is here. Just before you enter, more ninjas will spawn, so pull them back. And that is as far as I can get, because I don't think this one is possible. There's actually a camera here and a camera here in Rise of the Bat, and the light beams form an X shape right in front of this door. So if you imagine an X here, there's basically a hole at the bottom, a hole at the top, left and right. Now with Alyssa being a small monarch, I've tried all 4 of those holes and she can't make it through. The alarm actually trips before she even touches like the light beam. So the hitbox on the light beam is a bit large in my opinion. At first I tried crawling on both sides, like just to the level of the hole, and then just rolling in, but that trips it. It trips it from either side. I also tried doing the upside down thing from the ceiling, and that also that trips it before you even enter. And of course there's no way to make it in through the bottom, like not even rolling through. So as far as I know, I don't think there's any way past this one, which is probably another reason why this is not a feat. But it just bothers me. So like why would the devs put like a switch, an off switch here that you can't actually turn off? So I don't know. I've checked everything around the room to see if there's a hidden switch. There is not. There's nothing around the room. The other thing I thought of in here is you could like put a box there maybe, but these aren't there in Rise of the Bat. So I don't know. The other thing that's untested is we haven't had the right movement mode and body type combination for this. But I was thinking, like, we did have a small sprite in the group, but she was super speed, so I can't make it through. The only thing I could think of is that the left side of this, the left side of the X seems to have a larger hole than the right side. So I'm thinking if if a small sprite can just kind of float through perfectly through it. That's the only thing I could think of. But it's just weird that they would put this puzzle in there without a solution. Unless maybe they realized that and then just decided not to make it a feat. Okay, so the next obstacle is there are a whole bunch of laser barriers here. I think there's like 3 of them. There's no real way to turn this one off, except basically you pop a shield and you make it all the way here. And obviously only one person does this, so I mean the tank takes the least damage, so I just pop a shield, walk all the way here and interact, and it'll turn it off for the rest of the teammates. There are more ads here, so you have to be careful how you fight. Like you have to stay within these little quadrants and battle them. Okay, and this little room here is the boss fight. And in this fight you have to be careful of a lot of things, because there are a number of things that can one-shot you here. There is sort of like an orbital strike, and you'll see like a yellow and red circle on the ground. You'll definitely want to roll away from that. That's a one-shot. I think it's a one-shot even for the tank. There's also a less noticeable poisonous gas that comes out. It's like a faint green. So you're going to watch for that and make sure you roll out of that as well. And I've tried tanking this in several spots. I've found this corner to be the best. I have yet to see the enemy orbital hit this corner. So basically the boss starts right here. So the moment I enter, I'll just slide into this corner and pull him in. And I can pretty much keep him here the whole fight. He doesn't have too many scripted attacks that lunge out. And from what I noticed, it seems to be safer for every single roll to be within melee range here. The only danger of that is, like, if the gas comes out, it could wipe the entire group. Because, like, if everyone's bunched in here, you're kind of lodging each other in. So if the person on the outside doesn't roll out in time, neither will everyone else. The gas can hit the inside corner. It's just a lower chance. Pretty much everything out here is vulnerable. There's actually like a little elevator spot here in Rise of the Bat, which I tested to see if it was a safe spot, but it's actually more of a danger to be in there, because there's like nowhere to go, and you could get trapped. But the boss himself, he just has like a few high damaging attacks. Like when you see his skull, he's going to clap his hands over his head, and that I believe is a one-shot if you don't block it. It's not a one-shot for the tank, that's why I say I believe. A tank can survive that, but I imagine a DPS would get one-shotted by it. So definitely block on skull, as you normally would, but remember that's not a consistent messaging because some skulls you have to lunge. But in this case, block on skull. He's going to attack with hand blasters. So so every time you see like the feint, he's going to do that slow lunge, and you could counter it. And he's going to have the channel attack just like any hand blasters, and you can lunge that. But for this fight, I pretty much recommend melee combat and lots of counters, as I always do. But yeah, this one is pretty straightforward. It just might take a while because his health is pretty high. But as you get overgeared, it's going to become faster and faster. And there's no different strategy if you're doing this with 4 people, or if the group wipes and you're the only one left. Yeah, I don't change this one up like I do some of the others. Like if it's just me in here, I'll still stay at this corner, just to avoid like the orbital. And then just like any other boss, just rotate heals. So I just wanted to keep this map to one video because there's just a lot to talk about. Most of it was actually for the non-feat item, but I think it's good practice to try to go for that run. And with practice, that run as the normal run is actually faster because you're fighting a lot less ads if you turn off all the alarms. The only alarm that should get tripped is this last one. But with a patient and skillful group that doesn't like rush into things, you should be able to get all of them pretty quickly. All of the others before that one pretty quickly. So I'll probably do a separate video for the last fight, because that's in the Batcave. I have to figure out which instance gives me the most similar map, because I definitely can't do the actual alert and then try to do a video after, because that one has a timer on it. So I don't know, it must be either the leveling mission or one of the raids. I kind of think the leveling mission is the one with the same map. But yeah, stay tuned for that one, and good luck with Rise of the Bat. Thanks for watching.